Hey guys, welcome back to the Independent View. This is Ornikage. Today we're just doing a quick recap on the second campfire sit down, discussing the updates for Diablo 4. Very exciting news, a lot of buffs coming in. Today being the 2nd of August, we should receive the patch notes. 8th of August, we should go live with patch 1.1.1. And overall, the developers have actually listened to the community, so a lot of positives coming in. Some upgrades, some buffs going into Barb and to Sorceress specifically, making them more viable. There will also be some buffs around some of the other classes, specifically just looking at those that are not played as much, to make it obviously a bit more of a balanced experience, as they've promised with the previous patch updates, hot fixes, and my previous video as well. So, first of all, just to have a quick discussion around that, if you guys like the video, please like and subscribe. And let's jump into it. So, what exactly is going to be coming on the 8th of August? A lot of buffs will be happening. Some, like I've mentioned, some of the lower played classes will obviously have some upgrades. But uniques as well will also be available for each of the different classes. Obviously, different affixes on those uniques to make, let's say, Sorceress with a fire build will obviously be a bit stronger. Definitely Rogue with traps, for example, just to make it overall a bit more versatile to play with those characters. The developers also mentioned that in future they'll obviously work on things like vulnerability, crit damage, which seems to be the OP at the moment, but then they're going to be looking at trying to balance that out with the likes of overpowered as well, to make the meta not obviously focused predominantly only on vulnerable and crit. So, what are we looking at from an all damage, different types, pros and cons? They're looking at obviously increasing the overall skills of some of the characters to make it a bit more scalable. At the moment, some of those things don't stack very well. They also mentioned that they're looking at reworking some of the ultimates. And ultimates at the moment seems to be just, running around, doing ultimate and then carry on as best you can. They want ultimates to be strong. They want ultimates to take out massive numbers of monsters. And then obviously they're looking at reworking that. So that's actually very, very positive as well. Some other additional characters that they're also looking at is fine-tuning on Necromancer. They're looking at obviously doing some improvements on the minions. Also definitely some upgrades on Druid as well, just the different pets and stuff like that, and also being able to define a clear line between Necromancer and Druid, and not saying, listen, Druid is just another version of Necromancer. So they're also looking at that as well. Monster density always seems to come up, so obviously they're looking at ways to being able to do that. World bosses are going to be harder at the moment. World bosses are very, very easy, and we should be able to see all of these changes once you reach level 35 plus. So once this happens and you reach level 35, you should be able to see clear lines of difficulty increases. You also see clear lines of your rewards being a much better chance. I think they're also looking at fixing small bug fixes also coming through on patch 1.1.1 as well. So how best can we then utilize this? So we're all looking at the latest for the patch. Obviously later today we should be able to see it, and then obviously once we get a better idea of patch 1.1.1. So before I continue, I would like to obviously go through some hardcore fixes for the different classes, and then we can actually have a look. Please, like I said, if you have any questions, any comments, drop it down in the comment section below, and I'll obviously try to address everything as best we can. So let's look at the Sorceress. The Sorceress skills, and these are the skills that we'll probably be looking at improving. Flickering Firebolt. This will be a change to Firebolt. Firebolt will now generate 2 mana. Fireball will also, or Enhanced Fireball will also have it above. Casting Fireball increases its radius by 50%. Change to Fireball's critical strike damage is increased to 20%, and this bonus is increased to 30% overall. Chain Lightning, so greater Chain Lightning changed each time Chain Lightning bounces. Its next hit deals 5% increased damage. Destructive Chain Lightning as well, chance to form crackling energy is being increased from 25% to 30%. Passives for Sorceress. Vire's Mastery, So there's an increase from 10% to 15%. Essus Ferocity, additional functionality. Combustion, the burning effects has been increased as well from 20%, and this will be increased by 2% per unique source of burning. So as you can see, they're kind of focusing a lot on those characters, and they actually are listening and making the changes that the community has requested. Some of the changes also coming to Sorceress on the Paragon boards. Searing Heat Legendary Node will be changed. Ceaseless Conduit will be changed. Reinforced Ray Glyphs. Some increases there from 10% to 15%. Territorial Ray Glyph, Warding Ray Glyph, Keeper of Flames. These will also see increase or buffs post the patch 1.1.1. Let's look at some additional Paragon changes as well for the Sorceress. Smoldering Embers, Guard Ray Node, Oppressive Ray Node, Lightning Resilience Ray Node, and Restorative Ray Node will also all see buffs as per the patch notes. So very exciting, obviously, going forward with the Sorceress now. Things like playing with a Pyro build will obviously be a bit more attractive going forward. The legendaries for some of your sorceresses as well will also change, and these are the aspects on those legendaries. Serpentize aspect, aspects on conflagration, aspect of engulfing flames, aspect of 3 curses, firewalkers aspect, and gravitational aspect as well will also change, and all of these will have a buff increase either with regards to time, with regards to health. Engulfing Flame sees a massive increase, basically from 30% all the way up to 80%. So definitely looking forward to trying that out. So some additional legendary aspects that we're also looking at is charged aspects, aspects of Bonduing Conduit, Frozen Orbit. All of these will have increases as well. Let's just have a look at the Barbarian. Skills, Bash, Flay, Frenzy, Lunging Strike, Double Swing, Rapture, Charge, and Mighty Charge will all see buffs being received for them as well. Skills for the Barbarian, Upheaval will definitely see a buff as well. Some of the passives for the Barbarian, Aggressive Resistance, Gushing Wounds, Unconstrained, Walking Arsenal, will all see buffs, everything from 25% to 35%. Bleeding damage from overpower will go up as much as 70% as well, so definitely looking forward to seeing how that plays for the Barbarian. Legendary aspects for the Barbarian as well: Ancestral Force, Death Wish aspect, Unrelenting Fury, Accentral Surcharge, Burning Rage, Bulk Kathos, all sees buff increases, so all of those will also get an increase. Earthquake aspect will also get an increase up to 25%. Some of the uniques for Barbarian: Fields of Crimson, Hellhammer, Magnum Opus, 100,000 Steps, and Battle Trance will also receive buffs, and these are all positives, obviously making Barbarian a lot more viable to play with. Just some side notes, obviously Rogue will also receive some additional changes during this patch update. The following skills will receive changes: Invigorating Strike, Forceful Arrow will now also go through a third cast, pierces enemies. Cold Traps will also get a buff, Poison Trap will get a buff, and Rain of Arrows now will not only cause knockback on the third round, but also on the second or first wave will also cause knockback. So it's very interesting for Rogue as well. Some passives for the Rogue: Victimize, Rugged, and Siphoning Strikes will all have increases. Legendary aspects for the Rogue: Elusive Menace, Quickening Fog, will also all receive buff increases after the patch. Uniques such as Wind Force and World of Hakan or Word of Hakan will also receive buffs for the Rogue. Some droid roads post this match. These droids will also receive a buff for the following aspects or following skills: Earth Spikes, Claw, Storm Strike, Wind Shear, Maw, and Wolves will also receive buffs. And this is obviously to cause a balance between the players, so you don't obviously feel that Sorceress as a Barb now becomes overpowered, and then for Droid and Necromancer and Rogue then becomes not as useful. So definitely not the case. The developers are obviously trying to work to make sure that the game is as balanced as possible, regardless of the build type that you use. Droid skills that will be buffed: Raven and Rabies. Legendaries: Aspect of Metamorphic Stone, Aspect of Alpha, and Mangled aspect will also receive a buff. The class mechanic Overlord will change. Lucky Hit Chance will go up from 20% all the way up to 40%, so that's also very promising. Some changes to Necromancer. Skills: Bone Spirit will get a buff from 6 to 7 seconds. The Paragon with a legendary board will also get a buff from 2.5 to 4%. Legendaries within the Necromancer, and obviously they're not doing a lot of changes to Necromancer because this is obviously a very favored build at the moment. Aspect of Empowering Reaper and Aspect of Exposed Flesh will both get an increase, just to obviously balance out these characters as well. The following legendaries for Necromancer will change as well. Aspect of Decay, Aspect of Torment, and Hulking Aspect will also all get buffs. And the uniques, Greaves of Empty Tomb, will also receive a buff with regards to the movement speed that it allows you to do. So overall, I think the developers are making a lot of positive changes throughout the game. I think it's very, very exciting to think about where the game is going, where we obviously can find ourselves now kind of deep or halfway, not even halfway. I think we just started out with season 1, and I think the developers have done a great job to listen to the community, to make some positive changes, and I really look forward to seeing what the community will do once the post up on the 8th of August. If you guys have any questions, once again, please let me know. Obviously, drop a like and subscribe. I think that Diablo had a bit of a scare in the beginning of season 1, especially with some of the changes that came through. I think the developers are definitely moving in the right direction, and I really look forward to the 8th of August to let's see how these changes take effect, especially for me. I play with a sorceress, so yeah, guys, I wish you all of the best. I hope you guys are still enjoying the game in our slow grind towards level 100 in season 1. I wish you guys an awesome day further. Take care. Till next time. Cheers. Bye.